Hey Cameron, did you know it's time to sign up for Camp Pioka? So what are you waiting for? A commercial parody of Scoop There It Is?
Cabins, yurts, praising God, fishing with my brand new rod. Camp, there it is. Camp, there it is.
Cinnamon rolls!
Live from Irvington, it's Wednesday night.
Back by popular demand! Welcome everyone to the special edition of Wednesday Night Live. I'm Carolyn Lesmeister, the Christian Education Coordinator here at IPC, here with my co-host, Reverend Maureen Wilson. And we are excited to bring you all sorts of information about faith-based summer camp.
Thank you for joining us. As you may remember, we've been doing Wednesday Night Live during the heart of COVID and almost a year ago, but we've brought it back now for the fundraiser. We've done a lot of different fundraisers over the year. We've done the Mactown Smackdown, we've done pancakes for Lent, and now, because we're looking for always new creative ways, we are doing our special edition of Wednesday Night Live to help support the Camp Scholarship Fund. Thank you for tuning in this evening.
We're hoping that you'll be so inspired by what you see and hear tonight that you will call in and make a generous donation to our Camp Scholarship Fund.
Well, actually, we're hoping that you'll make a generous donation whether you like the programming or not.
That's true. That's true. IPC wants to make camp accessible to every young person who is interested in attending. So we cover half the cost for every camper from our church. Our goal tonight is to raise $500 in pledges. Please support our efforts by calling the number on your screen and making a pledge. Note that due to technical difficulties beyond our control, the number you should call is not the church office number. Please call the number on your screen instead.
When you do call in, you will have the pleasure of speaking with our very own Mandy Holzhausen, who is standing by at the phones ready to take your information, and thank you profusely. In fact, we also have a special guest reporter on the ground with Mandy who will be checking in and giving us periodic updates. Now, just for your information, because of the way that we're able to take donations today, it will have to be sending either in a check or dropping off cash to the church. At this time, we are not able to take credit card donations. But let's go ahead and check in and see how we're doing.
Hello, everyone. I am your roving reporter, Robert, here. I'm also known as your lame duck minister. And I am so excited to be here to raise some money for summer camps. And I am here with the super spectacular Mandy Holzhausen. Mandy, thank you for being here.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here.
Well, I'm glad because we have lots of things to talk about with summer camp. And Mandy, why don't you tell us a little bit about your experiences with summer camp?
Oh, I love Pioka Summer Camp. My favorite was the year that Caleb and Emma both went on the same week, which meant I had an entirely free week. Woo! But yeah, the kids have gone to Pioka several years. They've loved it. They did Mad Camp. My nephew went one year with Caleb, or actually a couple years, and he loved it. And then the Scholarship Fund is so awesome because it doesn't just help with Pioka, but Caleb and Emma both used it for Scout Camp as well.
That's right. Yeah, so any summer camps that your kids go to, they can get a scholarship for this. So tonight we want people to call in. And what's that phone number again, Mandy?
708-703-2066.
Okay, key that into your phone right now. And you could even pledge twice tonight, once right at the beginning and once right at the end. Or you could also do it in the middle. So, Mandy, so we're going to break back to our announcers now, but let us know when you get some calls.
All right, I'm ready to answer them.
Call now. Back to you now, folks.
Thank you, Mandy and roving reporter Robert. Tonight you will hear a lot about Pioka, which is our local Presbyterian camp here in Indiana. But as they said, we don't just offer scholarships for Pioka campers.
Yes, Mandy mentioned that it can be used for Scout Camp or any faith-based conference or organization. So we have sponsored campers that have gone to Geneva Center, Pioka, Scout Camps, And then there's also Montreat, places like Ghost Ranch, really beautiful properties that are offering our young people the opportunity to explore nature and God and faith in different ways and get them outside and moving around a little bit more. So we are very open. If you are looking or interested in a faith-based camp or conference, please let us know, and we want to work with you guys to be able to offer the scholarship, because we do know that there can be a financial burden, but we never want people to miss out on an opportunity, especially after a year of not being able to support those programs. So again, we invite you to call in and donate for the Camp Scholarship Fund to help support our young people and our congregations supporting those camp systems, and for parents like Mandy and Steve to be having a well-deserved week for themselves.
That's a good enough reason to register right there, I think. Well, we already have 6 campers from IPC registered for Pioka, so let's hear more about what they'll be doing. Well, I am excited to be talking tonight to Reverend Molly DeWitt, who is the Program Director for Pioka Camp and Retreat Center. Welcome, Molly. It's great to have you with us.
Thanks for having me with you all. This is great.
All right, so we're just going to jump right in with some questions. The first one is for people who aren't familiar with Pioka or people who are going to be campers for the first time this year. Can you just tell us a little bit about the Retreat Center and what campers can expect?
Absolutely. So Pioka has been traditionally affiliated with the Presbyterian Church. We're owned by Whitewater Valley Presbytery and partnered with Ohio Valley Presbytery in central and southern Indiana. We have been around since 1952. Our mission is to be a place where all are welcome in God's love to explore, grow, rest, and play. And at the very foundation of that mission is our summer camp program. So we host summer camp every year. We did Camp in a Box last year to make that accessible to kids during the beginning of the pandemic, but we are very excited to be able to welcome kids back on site this summer. We serve kids who are going into second grade all the way through graduating seniors this year. And so we hire a number of summer staff that we train and come on board every summer to be able to make that programming go. And so middle of May, we're going to start bringing in staff, and we will welcome our very first campers the first week of June. So we're really excited that we finally get to have folks back on site, because it's been pretty quiet around here this year.
Oh, I'll bet. That's going to be a fantastic change finally to have all of those people back.
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited.
So what kinds of things will people do at camp?
We have lots of stuff, and I know that this has been a big question for some of our kids and some of our adult volunteers and folks who are coming in with different programs of like, how is camp going to be different? We are trying as hard as possible to make camp as normal as possible. So that's going to include doing all of our normal activities, just slightly shifted a bit to accommodate for COVID protocols. And so we're going to be canoeing, and we're going to be going up, if you're a junior high camper and older, on our high ropes. We're going to hike and swim and do Bible study every day. Our theme this summer is creation care. It's Creation Speaks. And so we are going to have creation care activities every single day for all of our kids to learn about the environment, as well as to be able to take some really cool projects home. But we're going to be doing all of that in cohorts, so little pods. So instead, we've typically had pretty large centralized programming in the past, but campers are going to be in smaller groups this year and primarily spend all that time with that small group. But we will still try to have some of those big group activities like our group worship and our campfires every night, which are super fun and have lots of singing and silly songs. But those are going to be definitely masked and spread out so that we all feel comfortable, because this is going to be a big adjustment with so many folks coming to camp and being in a big group for the first time, and knowing that a lot of folks have been in very small groups all year. And so we're going to try to feel as comfortable and safe and as spread out as we can. But we want to make sure that we still get that essential fun camp experience even while we're doing that.
That's fantastic. And yeah, you're right. That is going to be the first time for probably a lot of people being in a large group. It'll probably be a lot of fun. I know I've missed that kind of thing, and I'm sure a lot of other people have too. So I bet the energy will just be amazing for that.
Yeah, we're really excited. And I think we did have some colleagues last year who did choose to run camp. And after kids being stuck at home for 8 weeks last March into when they came in June, they said that kids were like crying getting out of the car because they were so excited to be able to come back to camp. I don't know if we're going to get any of that, but we definitely think that this is going to be a very transformative and just like a huge release for a lot of kids who have felt very stuck inside all year.
Yeah, I'm sure. One of the things that I noticed that I was kind of excited about is the family camp option. So could you say a little bit more about what that's going to be like and who that's open to?
Yes, so that is open to families of all ages. And so we've been hosting small family retreats throughout the year. And so families will be able to sign up. They can either be in a designated room in one of our cabins, or they can sign up for a tent camping option. So if you want to be outside in your own tent and be able to kind of be with your family all together, there's different pricing options for that. But you come for the weekend, and we will have our staff hosting all of our typical camp activities that families would get to sign up for. And so you show up at your time and you get to try out our high ropes course or try out boating. But it's a way for your whole family to come and be together at camp. And you kind of get to pick and choose what camp activities you want to do. We'll have our normal campfires together, but we'll all be socially distanced and spread out. But that's been a really fun way for folks, for the entire family to be able to come and experience camp, especially if you're really young and you're not quite old enough to come to one of our programs quite yet. We think it's a really fun way to also get alumni and folks involved. So it's brand new, but after this year of doing all these family retreats, we think it's a really fun way for folks to come and experience camp.
Now, is that something if people's, kids are grown or older and they don't actually have any kids at home anymore and they wanted to come to family camp, could they come too?
Yeah, absolutely. So the cost is just per person, and family, whatever your family unit is, will be assigned to a cabin room and space. And so the way that we're kind of handling lodging is that folks who are inside their rooms together are able to be unmasked, but once you're out in the common space of the cabin or any other place indoors, we are asking everybody to be masked up. So to try to keep those safety protocols. But the nice thing is we got some funding from Ohio Valley Presbytery last year to upgrade our AC units. So we have the ability to turn over all of the air in all of our lodging and in our lodge, all of our indoor spaces. So that's keeping that air fresh in there, which is really great.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So one question that I have is, how does going to camp impact people's faith and their lives outside of the camp setting?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it definitely was a huge impact on my life. I went to camp all throughout my youth. My parents thought it was really important for me. It's just a fun space to get away, but for us, it's also a really important space to be in intentional Christian community with other people your age. And it's really important to be able to do that away from parents, which is kind of nerve-wracking for some folks for the first few years when kids are really young. But we find that it's so important for kids to be able to wrestle with their faith and theological questions in a space surrounded by their peers and in a safe space where they're able to get away and be surrounded by creation and know that they are still loved and accepted, and that the questions that they have for their faith matter here. And we also recognize that a lot of kids are very busy throughout the year, and attending Sunday school or youth group can be really hard. And I think somebody did the math once that if you accumulate an hour of Sunday school every week for a school year, you're getting technically more hours of in-depth intentional Christian community and Bible study in 1 week of camp than an entire year of Christian ed programming, which is mind-blowing to me.
That is.
Oh, we have a lot of time to where we get to really do some really deep faith formation. And so we're really excited and glad that a lot of folks prioritize camp because in addition to all of that important faith work and questions and getting to know God that happens at camp, it's also a really important social and emotional development space too for kids, where they understand independence and what it means to live with other kids in a space together for a week, and understand just what it means to be a member of a community. So we think and more than ever, we think that it's going to be really important for mental and social health this year for kids to be at camp together.
Yeah, and I know just personally, a lot of people I know who were camp regulars have their camp friends, and those friendships sustain, I mean, decades after they stop going to camp. Excuse me. Yeah, they're still close to those people, and they're still friends and nurture one another's faith. So we've talked a lot about summer camp because that's obviously our focus for the fundraising, but could you talk a little bit more about the other kinds of things that Pioka does?
Yeah, so throughout this past year, we have had a very different kind of retreat season, but from August through May, we are typically hosting nonprofit groups, schools, churches, local groups from Jackson County that are from around here for various types of faith retreats or day luncheons or different things. But this year we have shifted to primarily very small immediate family retreats and pastor respite. So we actually were able to host Bob, Reverend Hymick with us and Jenny here last fall, and we've had a number of pastors take advantage of that, which has been really lovely. And that's been, the cost of that has been supported by presbyteries to ensure that pastors can get away, because it's been a really challenging year for them.
Yeah.
But we've also done some other really cool innovative things in the last year because we've all been so spread out. We've done camp in a box and retreats in a box. So instead of being able to do like a women's retreat that we had scheduled last fall, we were able to do a women's retreat in a box and then an online social gathering where we all were able to do some Bible study together and have a keynote speaker. And we just recently sent out Easter in a Basket, which was a Holy Week in a Box program to 150 individuals and families across Indiana. So people got to do crafts and different things that walked them through Holy Week from Palm Sunday to Easter. And we're gearing up and in conversation to do some really cool projects and programs in the future, but those are still kind of in development. So we're getting really excited for where we're hoping to expand once we're able to welcome folks comfortably back on site, which we're just now gearing up for.
Fantastic. Well, I have one more question for you, but before I get to that one, is there anything else that you'd like to share with us about Pioka or camp in general or anything?
We are really excited to have folks back on site with us. And so if any parents or anyone have any questions at all about our registration process, we offer camp scholarships as well. Anything to do with camp or our health and safety policies for the summer, we want to know what's going on and we want to know what questions you have. It's been 2 summers since we've seen folks, and we know that with everything that has gone on in the last few years, that people might be a little bit more hesitant about camp or not sure about sending their child away. And we want you to know that we understand that and definitely want to make sure that any fears or questions that you may have can be answered, and we're here for you and for your kids for the long haul. We walk with them from 2nd grade and all the way through their youth and young adult life. So we are here for you and definitely want to be able to answer any questions that you might have for this summer and beyond.
Awesome. Thank you. So my final question for you is, what are you most excited about for this year's summer camps?
I am most excited about having our summer staff come back on site. They're the reason why our kids have such a great experience. They are mentors, they are young adult faith leaders, and they're all also coming to terms with their faith and learning what it means to become a mentor and a spiritual leader. And our kids so look forward to having them here. And so we are excited to get them started on training, and we are excited to have kids be able to come back and develop those really important relationships with those young adults that they hold on to for their whole lives. I still can remember every single camp counselor that I ever had. It's one of the greatest joys of my job to be able to supervise and mentor them, because they do the everyday mentoring and faith leadership work with our campers. And I know that so many campers cannot wait to see a lot of our staff that come back or get to make new relationships with them. And so we're just excited to have everybody back and feel like a full community again.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. I'm excited for you guys and for everybody who's going to get to go and be part of that experience. It sounds like it will be wonderful.
Yeah, we're very excited and definitely want to welcome all of you to camp. And if you've never been to camp before, we're actually hosting a day of service. If you don't want to come down and do any service work, that's fine. But if you want to kind of get to know the grounds and do some kind of socially distanced checking out the site, that is going to be from 10 to 4 on Saturday, May 15th. And so anyone can come down and check out our facilities and just kind of get to know the grounds and explore a little bit before you come to camp.
Do they need to register in advance and let you know that they're coming?
It is super helpful if you do. So there is a space on our website under our support Paioka. You can scroll down and there's a volunteer section there, and it just says if you're coming to that day of service to let us know, and let me know if you don't want to do service. If you just want to come in and do a tour, that's totally fine too. But we would love to have families down to see y'all again, and also just to be able to kind of spread out and enjoy the site right before we get ready for camp.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for taking some time to talk with us and tell us a lot more about Paioka and summer camps.
Well, thank you for having me. We're looking forward to seeing a lot of kids back on site this summer. So can't wait.
Fantastic. That's going to be great. Bye, Molly. Paioka is such an amazing place, and people from IPC have a long history with that camp. Lots of IPCers have attended the camp over the years, and some, like Eli Eckert, have even worked there as camp counselors or in other roles.
Yes, Carolyn, that's an important point, because while we do offer the scholarship for the younger children to go and experience camp, those who've gone on to become camp counselors learn valuable lessons, and they're able to become mentors to those coming up. I know for me, going to camp when I was younger, I looked up to the counselors that were there, and they were able to share their stories and their faith. So we are thankful for all of those young campers who grew up into mature camp counselors. There are some positions available, I believe, at Paioka, so if you are interested in becoming a camp counselor, please look at the website of Paioka and apply.
Now, if you are an alum of Paioka and loved your camp experience, I challenge you to call in right now and make a pledge so that future generations can have the same fun, faith-filled experiences that you enjoyed. If you're really feeling bold, you can even let us know how long it's been since you've been to camp and donate that amount, or maybe several times that amount.
You know, I know of a certain retiring senior pastor who just had a birthday, and I bet he used to be a camper. Maybe he's willing to donate his age coming up. And just in case, let's go to the phone lines and check and see how things are going. Let's hand it over to our roving reporter, Robert.
So you want me to bring home what? Broccoli? And kale? No. How about some potato chips? Oh, wait, I got to go. Sorry. Sorry about that, folks. Back to, this is your roving reporter, Robert, with Mandy Holzhausen. Mandy, have we had any calls yet?
Oh my gosh, yes, the phone has been going off the hook. We've already hit a halfway mark to our goal.
And Mandy, is it true you have actually flirted with one of the callers?
Just one.
All right, keep it up. Keep up the good news. And Mandy, I hear we have breaking news story about summer camp this year. What about this breaking news? And I know it has something to do with your family.
Yeah, so breaking news is that our sweet Emma Holzhausen, IPC's favorite, well, maybe not favorite, but my favorite, is going to be working at Paioka this year. She is going to be, I had to write down what her title was, Media and Craft Coordinator.
Yeah, that's
so excited.
Yes, well, we're excited for her and for your whole family because you can go down and visit, but you'll still be an empty nester.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Oh, yeah, that's fantastic. So give us that phone number again, Mandy. Starts with a 7.
It does start with a 7. 708-703-2066.
All right. Call now. All right. So as we're waiting for more phone calls, Carolyn and Mo, back to you.
Yay, Emma!
Yay, congratulations, Emma, and thank you both for that exciting update. That is fantastic to hear, and I know she's going to have a great time, and the campers are going to love working with Mandy. We've been talking about our camp veterans a lot. Now let's hear from David and Simon Caldwell, 2 campers from IPC who will be attending Paioka for the very first time this year.
I'm looking forward to going to camp because there will be many fun activities like being away from my parents, kayaking, rock climbing, and hiking.
I'm excited to go swimming and make s'mores.
It's a puppy! Oh, it's a puppy. I wonder if the puppy wants to come stay with me when the kids are at camp. He's probably going to miss their friends. That was adorable, and we are so excited for our first time campers. We're going to have to get an update from them once they get back and see how it went.
Definitely.
And now we're going to go check in on the phone lines.
We're back. We're back, Mandy. So let's listen. Let's eavesdrop while she's on the phone with a caller.
Hold on, let me see if I can put it on speaker.
Okay, who might this be? Somebody is calling him. We don't really know how to work the phone.
Hey, Kristen, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, can you tell me how you would like to bring in or how you'd like to give the church your donation? Would you like to mail it in or bring it in?
I'm going to send it in with the technology coordinator.
Okay.
Wonderful. So are you related to him?
Vaguely, somehow.
Vaguely, somehow. Okay. I think it's the Bluffton Mafia who has just called in. So thank you very much for your donation.
Of course.
All right. Okay, back to you.
Thank you for that example of what it's like to call into our phone bank tonight. If you call in, you too can talk to Mandy and maybe even get on the air. So a few minutes ago, we saw a little video clip of David and Simon Caldwell, who will be joining IPCers who have fallen in love with camp. Let's stroll down memory lane and see some highlights from years past.
Paioka, Paioka, your memories will linger of worship and laughter, the things that we love. Whenever we think of the days that we spend here, we think of a spirit and a love that is dear. Paioka, Paioka, the lake and the cabins, the lodge and the chapel are all parts of thee. Paioka, Paioka, thy name to Paioka, Paioka, your memories will linger of worship and laughter, the things that we love. Whenever we think of the days that we spend here, we think of a spirit and a love that is dear. Paioka, Paioka, the lake and the cabin, the lodge and the chapel are all parts of thee. Paioka, Paioka, thy name duly honored, we'll always remember BYOCA.
I cannot believe some of those pictures. They've grown up so fast. I think we have to check in with the phone lines while I get myself together.
Yes, that was a tearjerker for sure to see all those kids who have grown up and they're now big and tall, and some of them are in college. In fact, I think one of those college students has called in right now. Who do we have here, Mandy?
We have the super special guest, Emma Holzhausen. Emma, say hi.
Hey, RPC.
How you doing, Emma?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Great. We just had breaking news that you just accepted a summer job.
I did. So come to Pioka if you want to come hang out with me.
Oh, I think we're going to get lots of people signing up now. So what are you going to be doing?
Yeah. I'm going to be running their social media and their craft. So I'll be the one behind the camera taking pictures of everybody having fun.
All right. Well, we already have some kids signed up, and I'm sure now even more are going to sign up.
Awesome.
All right. I'll let you talk to your mom because we need to go back to our announcers.
Okay, thank you.
Great to hear from you.
Good to hear from you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You heard it. We had breaking news from Emma Holzhausen. Now, back to you, Mo and Carolyn.
Thank you so much, Bob and Mandy, and thank you, Emma, for calling in. It was fantastic to hear from you. Oh, I'm getting word that we have a breaking news story. Yes, this just in. Apparently we have a moose fight happening right here in Irvington. I think we have some footage from someone who's on the scene. They said the moose are arguing over which one gets to be the mascot for Pioka. Wow, that was really something to watch. I wonder if we have a winner, at least for now. It's odd, though. You know, I didn't know that we had moose living in Indianapolis. And that part of Irvington doesn't look familiar to me. Must be a part of the neighborhood that I haven't been to yet. I wonder if that moose is going to want us to cover part of its camp fees. Better call in now so we don't risk an angry moose coming in to take on the church bus. I would not want to see that.
You know, you're right. I didn't recognize that part of Irvington, but we are known for our wildlife, like the peacocks. Frank the peacock that was lost or around this time last year. But you know what they might also be fighting over? Who gets to be the interim senior pastor at Irvington Presbyterian Church? And speaking of which, we have an interview by our own Katie Woodens with Bob. And perhaps we can learn a little bit more about what goes on in the senior pastor role.
Hello everybody, I'm Katie Wooden and I'm here to investigate Bob over here because apparently he's leaving us. So let's find out why, shall we? But first, why don't we just start by asking, why did you become a minister?
Why or when?
Why?
Why? That's a great question. I became a minister because I had this deep sense inside of me that God was wanting me to be a minister. We call it a call to ministry. And so in college, I felt it a little bit. And then when I worked at a bank, I felt it more and more. And I knew that I needed to go to seminary, at least to try it out. And as soon as I got to seminary in 1984, I felt very comfortable and said to myself, this is what God wants me to do. And so here I am, 36, 7 years later.
Did you have any trouble with your faith, like trying to like decide? Because I know when you were a banker, you just you decided to go to what college. We'll go with that. But did you have any trouble with deciding?
No, it was a long process. You know, I started thinking about it in my senior year in college. But then I knew that, you know, I was on my own when I graduated from college, and I needed a job and I needed money. And so that's when and I was a finance major. I wasn't a religion major in college. And so I decided to go into banking, and a bank in Dayton, Ohio hired me. And, you know, I enjoyed working at the bank, but I kept thinking about this. And so it was a constant thought process that was in my mind. It was like an itch that you have to scratch all the time. And, you know, so it took me, about 3 more years after college before I really decided that this is what I needed to do. So it wasn't something that, you know, I was suffering through, but it was constantly on my mind.
Does that happen to be the reason why you picked Notre Dame as your college?
I picked Notre Dame because I went to a football game there my senior year in high school from DeKalb High School in Auburn. And I had watched Notre Dame play football growing up all the time. And I went to a game there and thought it was really cool. And I didn't really walk on campus, and I just came back and applied to school, and I got in to Notre Dame, and my parents were very excited, and I was excited, and so that's the only place I applied to. So that's where I went. It was probably because of the football.
And to see how bad they were, apparently.
They were awesome then, and they're awesome now. They won the national, here's a little trivia. They won the national championship my freshman year of college. And so, of course, I expect them to win the national championship every year. That was the year that Joe Montana came into his own as a great quarterback. I'm sure you know who Joe Montana is. One of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And he lived in my dorm, and I was an RA eventually. And so I was kind of his boss after a while.
Well, I know you used to be my dad's youth minister. Is there a reason why you moved to Indiana after being up north for a while?
Well, I went to Louisville Seminary in Louisville, Kentucky, and when I was graduating from seminary, I was interviewing with a bunch of churches, including one here in Indianapolis, and they offered me a job, but it was a big church, and I didn't want to go to that big of a church. And so I interviewed with the LaPorte Presbyterian Church, and had a great rapport with their senior pastor, Bill Wimberly, and they offered me a job, and so I accepted that job. And as a matter of fact, Bill Wimberly is Jenny Giddens' uncle. So there was already a connection with Irvington way back when I started. And so, yeah, so your dad, Patrick, was in my youth group in LaPorte, and I was there for 5 years before I went to Bluffton.
Hold on, I have to look at everything I got here.
And I was also part of your parents' wedding when they got married. I don't think you were there.
I wasn't, actually. It's a shocker, isn't it?
I don't know how you missed that.
I would also like to know your least favorite story in the Bible or book, whatever that might be.
My least favorite story in the Bible. Well, I have a number of them. Anytime there's a lot of killing going on, I don't like that, because in the Bible there's a lot of killing going on, a lot of warfare and innocent people getting killed, and I never like that. I don't like the real boring parts where, you know, they're talking about who married who and who had what kid.
Oh, like after the creation, where you're just like, oh, just all these names, like that was my least favorite part. It was just like I tried to read it and it's like, okay, the first part's really interesting, and then you get to like where you're just like, okay.
Yeah, that's not my favorite. Even the book of Revelation, as dramatic as it is, it's not my favorite book of the Bible. And some of Paul's letters, Apostle Paul's letters, are a little too thick, complicated, not very interesting. So,
May I ask what your favorite book of the Bible is, or favorite story?
oh gosh, my favorite stories. I love stories in the Old Testament that tell kind of real life stories of people who are struggling or suffering or celebrating. You know, I love stories about King David, who, you know, was a very flawed human being, but still, you know, had a wonderful faith in God and tried to do his best, even though he made many mistakes. I think that's a great story. And of course, I love, you know, the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew chapter 5, 6, 7. You know, the Sermon on the Mount are probably my favorite stories about Jesus. I'm not real big about the miracles, but Jesus's stories interacting with people on an ongoing basis are probably my favorite. Yeah, I love the Psalms too. I think the Psalms are beautiful, and some of the prophets are great. Story of Ruth is wonderful, and of course, the Book of Esther is one of my favorite books of the Bible. As the Book of Esther doesn't mention God at all, that's not why it's my favorite. But you know, I have a little granddaughter named Esther, and so Esther's a great book of the Bible, Queen Esther.
Yeah, that's also one of my favorite stories of the Bible.
Strong woman.
Yeah.
You're just like her, Katie.
Oh, I thank you. And I think we should end on that beautiful note of how great I am.
Yes.
I think that's a great place to end. Thank you, everyone, for listening in, and I hope to see you in church very soon.
Okay, very good. Thanks, Katie.
All right. Thank you, Katie Wooden, for that hard-hitting piece of journalistic excellence. Can you believe that was her first time doing an interview?
I see a career blossoming in front of us.
I think so. Well, let's check with our phone lines one more time tonight and see how we're doing.
All right, we are back with Mandy. We're ending up the show. So, Mandy, tell us where we stand now.
We just need $150 more in pledges to reach our goal. So please call now so that we can hit our goal.
All right, it's 708-703-2066. Call now. Thank you for all of those who have called in already. And we are going to keep the phone lines open for another few minutes after Wednesday Night Live ends. You can still call, or you can call the church tomorrow. Call Mo, call Carolyn, call Mandy, call me. Just don't call me in a couple weeks. So back to Mo and Carolyn. Thanks, Mandy.
And so, friends, that is our show for tonight. If you are interested in attending PIOCA, visit their website to register. And if you're interested in attending another faith-based camp or potentially a conference coming up in the summer or in the fall, please contact Carolyn, and we will find a way to get you the support that you need and the scholarship. So we thank everyone for watching and for contributing to the Camp Scholarship Fund and for your ongoing support of IPC.
Thank you again, and good night.
It's Wednesday night.